The artwork that I selected is Praying Ministers by Jacob Lawrence. And my understanding is that it was added to the Spelman Collection in 1968. I was still a student at Morehouse at the time, and I am pretty sure that I saw this painting during my final year at Morehouse in 1968 and 1969. But if I did not see it then, I certainly became aware of it later in life. After I moved to Chicago, I saw reproductions of it in art books. And the painting made a very deep, strong impression on me, and I have never forgotten it. I like Praying Ministers because it was about civil rights, and it had recently been done. It was done in 1962, and when I first saw it, it would have been in 1968 or 69. The civil rights activity was still underway here in Atlanta. Now, when I arrived at Morehouse in the fall of 1964, the Civil Rights Act had just been passed in July of that year, and the demonstrations, the sit-downs going downtown, the protests and that sort of thing, that the Atlanta student movement had undertaken for the last few years, they had pretty much come to an end. But somehow in my mind, I had the recall that Praying Ministers was a much larger work of art. This is something that has happened in my memory over the years. I had always thought that it was something, somehow I aggrandized the dimensions of the painting. And I wanted it to be much larger. And indeed, I thought that perhaps there was, or I had seen a mural of Praying Minister at Spelman somehow. And, for years I thought that perhaps there was indeed a mural by the name of Praying Ministers and that it had been destroyed by fire. And I knew of the fire that destroyed the dining hall. And so I thought that perhaps there had been a mural, Praying Ministers in the dining hall, and that it had been destroyed by fire. But for some reason, in the dynamics and machinations of my mind, I came to remember or think that there had been a very large work, Praying Ministers, of mural size that existed at Spelman. What I saw in Jacob Lawrence's work seemed French to me, so I liked the Frenchness of Praying Ministers. And it was had a religious subject. And while I was in Paris, I suppose I probably paid more attention to a lot of large paintings by painters such as Delacroix and Courbet that had religious subject matter. What I liked, I guess, about Lawrence is that I just thought that he was a very, very good painter, but that so much of his work was French, that he had learned a lot from the School of Paris, from French art, and had applied that to life, African American life.